Okay, so we're going to talk through how to do some birth prep exercises on a birth ball or an exercise ball. So you can get a nice ball that's covered in fabric, which makes it a little more comfortable. Or if you got one of the plastic ones, just put a sheet or a towel over top just to make it a little bit more comfortable. First thing we're going to do is try to find a neutral position sitting on the ball. So we're sitting on the nice soft part of the pelvic floor instead of the bony parts of your pubic bone or your sit bones. So first thing I want you to do is just kind of rock back and forth doing some pelvic tilts. And this will help to try to find neutral by stopping halfway between. So gradually make those movements smaller and smaller until you stop about halfway between. And it should feel like you're sitting on something squishy, which would be your pelvic floor muscles, which are dome shaped and softer than bone, obviously. So you don't want to be sitting too far forward where you're sitting on the front pelvic bone. That'll feel very hard and uncomfortable. But you also don't want to be rounded back too far, sitting on your sit bones underneath your butt cheeks there. So try to find that neutral position. Now, the ball is dome shaped up and your pelvic floor is dome shaped down. So those should be contacting each other, which should give you a bit of an input of where your pelvic floor is and give you a little bit of idea if you're in the right spot. So what we're going to practice first here is being able to breathe down into the pelvic floor and see if you can relax the muscles as well as contract the muscles. So I'm going to have you take a really deep breath in through the nose and feel it come down into the pelvic floor. See if you can feel the pelvic floor muscles gently press down into the ball and open up into the ball. And you also feel it around your rib cage and your belly and your back. And then on the exhale, you're going to breathe out through pursed lips like you're blowing up a balloon. And then you're going to feel the pelvic floor gently lift up slightly. So breathe in and feel it drop. Breathe out and feel it lift. When you're breathing out, it shouldn't be a full contraction. It should just be coming back up from that stretched open position back up to neutral. So don't feel like you have to squeeze a Kegel as hard as you can. That's not what we're looking for. So you can do this as an exercise to just practice breathing into the pelvic floor and relaxing, making sure you have good coordination and relaxation happening in the pelvic floor with a little bit of feedback from the ball. But you can also do it to help increase some mobility, get some better positioning of baby potentially, and just opening up the pelvic area for baby to start descending as you're getting into the later stages of pregnancy and preparing for birth. So what I like to do is do some pelvic mobility drills on here. First thing I like to do is to be going back and forth, and you're going to be going in and out of a pelvic tilt. So I'm coming forward and my belly's kind of contracting a bit. So if you've got a pregnant belly, obviously you're going to feel it different than if you don't. And then going back and feeling my lower back arch. What you want to try to do is keep your shoulders and your head in neutral. So that way you're not just seesawing back and forth. That's not what we're looking for. We want to go back and keep our shoulders still and come forward, keep our shoulders still, and going front to back. From the side view, it will look like this. Nice tall posture. Tuck the tail under and round forward, and then untuck the tail and arch your back, back and forth. Nice, slow, and gentle. Now we're also going to repeat that going side to side. And basically what that is going to look like is like you're kind of doing a little side crunch and side crunch. And again, my shoulders and head are trying to stay neutral as my pelvis and hips and everything is rocking side to side. You might feel a little bit of work in your oblique muscles as you go side to side. Keeping, again, shoulders and head in position. So that's forward and back and then side to side. And then I like to also do circles all the way around. Try to make as big of a circle as you can, both clockwise and counterclockwise. So you can start by kind of going forward, rolling to the side, rolling back, and then all the way around to that front position. making it a nice big circle as much as you can. Again, keeping head, shoulders, chest all in one relatively still position, and then switch directions and go both ways, making sure you're just feeling yourself rolling around all directions. That is really nice to just help open up the pelvic area a little bit. Gets a little bit of engagement in your core muscles, which is always helpful. It can really help babies start to descend and get into a little bit better position through the pelvic inlet at the top of the pelvis. So those are the ones sitting on the ball.